You're watching Animal Planet's Creature Features.
Somewhere, deep in a jungle on the island of Sumatra, roams a creature so elusive, it blurs the line between fascination and fear. One of the rarest and most dangerous predators on Earth. It's never been filmed in the wild. Now, for the first time, a crack team of scientists is trying to track it down and save it. He goes by the name Sumatran. And his survival depends on the hunt for what makes him so elusive. On the tropical island of Sumatra in Indonesia, an international team of biologists is heading into the jungle on a mission. This 1,300 square mile wilderness, called Waikambas National Park, is the staging ground for their battle. Their objective? To save the rare Sumatran tiger from extinction. Scientists estimate only 500 remain in the wild. But saving them won't be easy. The Sumatran tiger is also one of the most secretive creatures on Earth.
It's a favored tree for a tiger, scratching, sharpening his claws on it. What looks to be a smaller tiger just down this, just across here, claws just going into the bark.
Even finding a scratch is a small victory. Dr. Ronald Tilson of the Minnesota Zoo, a leading authority on Sumatran tigers, has yet to see one in the wild.
I think it's kind of esoteric, being out studying an animal as rare and endangered and magical as this, and not being able to see it.
Today, the team has spotted an abundance of tiger prey. Sambar deer, wild pigs, and monkeys called macaques, but no tiger. From the Indonesian capital of Jakarta, Waikambas National Park lies just across the Sunda Strait, but it seems a world away. Indonesia is the fourth most populous country on Earth. Once a nation of lush islands and tropical rainforests, more than 500,000 acres of prime wildlife habitat are now being destroyed to meet the demand for timber, housing, and farmland. Fewer places to live mean fewer tigers. Loss of habitat is the biggest threat to the Sumatran tiger, but not the only one.
Wai kanan, wai kanan. Wai kanan. Wai kanan, selamat sore, wai kanan.
At Waikambas, rangers routinely patrol the park on the lookout for an even more dangerous predator. More than 50 of these snares used to trap and poach tigers were recently found in the park. The bark on this tree was shredded by a snared tiger desperately trying to claw its way to freedom. At least 3 tigers died in Waikambas at the hands of poachers who sell tiger parts for use in traditional medicines. This evidence led Tilson's team and the authorities to set a trap of their own, which resulted in the poacher's arrest. A journey into the park can be a back-breaking trek. What few roads there are cut through foreboding jungle that engulfs everything in its sight, including the last signs of human habitation. In 1995, Ron Tilson established a base camp deep in the jungle and set up the Sumatran Tiger Project, determined to save the endangered cat.
I don't work on the principle that I'm going to fail, ever. I don't have a history of failure, and I don't intend to start here. It just simply is a process where you have to have enormous patience, you have to have a plan, and you have to realize that this is bigger than me, it's bigger than my team, it's bigger than all of the staff we have working in this park.
We'll lower this down.
Field Coordinator Neil Franklin shares his passion. A British-born biologist, Franklin began his career studying another endangered species, the Sumatran rhino. But somewhere along the way, he became captivated by tigers.
Tigers, for me, are very important because they represent everything which is natural. If you can't save the tigers, then you just can't save anything. The tiger's the king of the forest in Indonesia. And if we can save the king of the forest, then what we hope is that all its subjects will be safe too.
Joining Ron and Neil is a team of researchers and forest rangers, all Indonesians like Bastoni and Opry and Sriyanto. For the next few months, base camp will be their home. Saving tigers is a full-time job. Ron commutes from the United States. Neil's new bride shuttles in for visits from Jakarta, and Bastoni's wife and son live here, but they're always saying goodbye. Today, the team is setting out to explore one of the nearly 50 miles of trails they monitor. They're looking for tiger tracks, paw scrapes, or any other sign a tiger's passed this way. The slightest movement in the brush puts them on alert. A tiger could be hiding anywhere. But the commotion is only a covey of firebacks.
There could be tigers right alongside us now. You can see what the vegetation's like. It's so thick. There's not much you can do against it either. You come around a corner and you're facing a tiger. The only thing to do is to withdraw, to back away very slowly.
Another one, tiger prints. What is it? Tiger prints.
Fresh tiger prints prove a tiger's been here. The print is measured and its location recorded. But the tracks lead to more revealing evidence. The skull of a wild pig. Its bones crushed, the pig had been devoured by a hungry tiger. But there's more than one predator lurking in this jungle. Not a day goes by when someone isn't picking off the land leeches that crawl on the ground or drop from the trees.
Right, this is a leech. Dreaded fear of the jungle here. There's so many of them around, and very difficult to avoid.
Still, other creatures can be deadly. A poisonous snake is almost impossible to see until it's too late. Ironically, the most dangerous and destructive beast in the jungle is an elephant. This animal has been tamed, but wild elephants living in the park often destroy observation posts.
First two were destroyed by elephants, wild elephants here, and we managed to, almost 9 months, the post stood alone, undisturbed, and then one day a group of tourists and the film crew, in fact, got a little bit too close to the elephants, and the elephants that night came in and took the thing right out, destroyed it.
What wild elephants take, tame elephants give back, mainly in muscle. They help haul timber used to rebuild the observation decks. In a jungle, An elephant is also the best way to get around, especially when the terrain is swampy. They're also great for spotting tigers.
You've got a much better chance of seeing tigers from up here because the tigers are used to elephants going through their territories and they don't notice a passenger on top.
Or so the theory goes. Riding an elephant has its ups and downs. And no one has seen a tiger yet. Though few Sumatran tigers have ever been seen in the wild, some 225 live in captivity around the world. The staff at this wildlife park near Jakarta would never attempt this with a newly captured wild tiger. It would be too dangerous. But this 6-year-old was raised in captivity. Once freed inside this fenced-in jungle, he vanished into the brush. Sumatrans are the smallest tigers in the world. This healthy male weighs about 120 kilos, some 265 pounds, roughly half as much as a Siberian or Bengal tiger. His color and markings also set him apart. His coat is darker, the ruff around his face bushier, and his stripes more vivid and numerous. Yet it shares the traits of other tigers: penetrating eyes, expressive face, keen sense of smell, and a roar that sends chills through anyone or anything who hears it. Researchers believe Sumatran tigers stalk smaller prey than their larger cousins, devouring an average of 8 to 10 pounds of fresh meat a day. This tiger appears at ease in water. Researchers know Sumatrans regularly swim across rivers in the wild. Beyond that, surprisingly little is known about this magnificent creature and its habits, where it lives, and why it's so elusive. For the Sumatran Tiger Project, the challenge is daunting. How do you save a tiger you can't even find?
This is going to be a good site, I think, for a camera trap.
For help, Neil Franklin and his team resort to stealth technology.
Okay.
Remote still cameras posted at strategic locations in the forest.
Coba lagi kan, bisa lewat.
Tiger prints have been found here, and the team knows the tiger will return. An electronic device called a trail master emits an infrared beam that extends across the trail. When the beam is interrupted, it triggers the camera. The result, a never-before-seen glimpse into the tiger's world. 25 cameras trained on trails and streams throughout the forest captured an amazing array of exotic creatures. Elephants, tapirs, sun bears, and an animal thought to be closer to extinction than the tiger, a Sumatran rhino. Even suspected poachers were caught in the act. Every animal in the jungle, except a tiger.
It was frustrating for two reasons. First of all, we were putting the cameras in the wrong place for tigers. And the second thing was we were putting them in the right places for elephants. And the elephants destroyed a lot of the cameras during that time. Oh boy, another one. It's been flattened by an elephant. You see what the elephant's done? Look.
The elephants had literally torn the cameras off the trees.
In half.
But when the team repositioned them on old logging trails, they finally found what they were after.
Camera over there and then stamped on it. It was a great relief to us all. And a surprise as well, because we found it, for all places, on the road, the main access road into the base camp. We call that tiger Srikandi Putri, princess. The photograph's interesting in itself because one of the obvious things about it is the injuries to the tiger. And you can see an injury on the right forepaw and also on the back on the flanks and the back leg as well. And it's obviously been in a fight over territory, or it's been mating recently.
Franklin was surprised to find that tigers used open pathways to travel through the jungle. But repositioned cameras confirmed it with a stunning array of new photographs. Yet a snapshot is only part of the picture. The camera also records when the tiger appeared, its exact location, and other vital information.
Oh yes, stand by.
The data will be used to create the first comprehensive profile of the tigers, a minor miracle for project leader Ron Tilson.
Here we are, after 3 years, we've essentially yet to see one walking down one of these trails, yet we know they come down these trails regularly. That's the beauty of this whole system. We're generating data that allows us to understand the tiger without ever seeing it.
By now, some of the tigers are becoming old friends. This mature male is named Gembong Rawana, Indonesian for big bad boss of the dangerous forest. The largest and toughest looking tiger found so far, his unusual stripes make him easy to distinguish.
Right, there's a very distinctive fracture across one of the back stripes, and that stands out immediately. You can read the tails almost like a binary code.
These remarkable photographs are already challenging conventional wisdom about tigers. Most scientists thought they were primarily nocturnal animals. But the Sumatran tiger in Y-Combus travels only about 20% of the time under the cover of darkness. A global positioning satellite overhead used to pinpoint the exact location of each sighting produced another surprise.
Even though the home ranges of
The range of the tigers, whether male or female, overlaps considerably, and some even share the same territory.
That's unusual because tigers are thought of as territorial and as exclusive in the territories. They fight each other to push each other out of their own territories. But we're seeing here two tigers living in exactly the same place.
But most impressive of all, the photos offer hope. They show that 2 or even 3 times as many tigers may reside in Y-Combus National Park as previously thought. The original estimate was 20, but now they're up to 37 and counting, raising the possibility that more tigers exist throughout Sumatra and beyond.
Everyone says that the real war to keep tigers alive for the future is going to be in India because there are so many of them there. Well, I'm going to challenge that. I'm going to say that indeed, I think we're going to do it here. This is going to be the challenge, and I think this is where we're going to see tigers live.
Indonesia is one of the first countries to develop a survival plan for its tigers. The Sumatran will not disappear like the other 2 Indonesian tigers that have already gone extinct, according to Effendi Sumarja, Assistant Minister of Environment.
So that's the reason we have to put our fund, resources, capacity, capabilities to protect and to conserve the Sumatran tiger for the benefit of Indonesia as well as for the human as a whole in the world.
4 of them, 4 in this frame, in this set of photographs. And
Infrared cameras helped answer key questions about the number and distribution of tigers in Y-Combus National Park. But researchers are still in the dark about how they live and why they're so elusive.
We have another photograph here. That's from a site called Gorong 3.
Catching a wild tiger in the act won't be easy, but what worked once might work again. This time, it's an infrared video camera. Here was an opportunity to secure the first moving pictures of a Sumatran tiger in the wild.
Good? Good.
6 cameras were placed along strategic trails and crossroads tigers were known to frequent. 2 cameras covered this watering hole. Another pair kept watch over this makeshift bridge. But it soon became obvious why this high-tech surveillance hadn't been attempted before. Monsoon rains leaked into the allegedly watertight housing, ruining the sensitive electronics. Scorching heat and humidity triggered the shutter, resulting in blank footage and dead batteries. And despite the camouflage, this wild elephant wasn't fooled. He took an instant dislike to the intruder, the camera. If you look closely, you can see the elephant's reflection in the water, the last footage recorded before the camera gave out. The jungle was not about to give up the first moving pictures of a tiger that easily. Even behind bars, there's nothing more ferocious than an angry Sumatran tiger. Imagine the terror when they're on the loose. This is Udung, a tiger suspected of killing at least 2 people.
This is a sample from an area very close to where the tiger was killing people. If you get this under a microscope, it's clearly a human hair.
To keep Udung and other problem tigers from killing again, they are captured and sent here to Taman Safari, a wildlife park near Jakarta. Here they become part of a captive breeding program. He may be behind bars, but his genes could help save his species. Problem tigers like Udung prompted Indonesian authorities to form an emergency response team to address the increasing number of attacks. In the last 20 years, tigers have killed at least 147 people here, and the death toll continues to climb. When an attack is reported, the team goes to the scene, evaluates the threat, and makes a recommendation on whether or not to remove the tiger.
There needs to be rapid, immediate, powerful response to a tiger that comes in and starts killing people. There just simply is not time to get into a debate about whether there should be more sympathy for this tiger and a more higher level of consciousness about endangered species, and all along while you're jabbering away, it kills somebody else.
Sulit. Musim segini bagaimana untuk cari ikan?
Philip Nijhuis of the Sumatran Tiger Project is out on one such call. A tiger has killed a man from a village that borders Waikambas National Park. Villagers fear it may still be on the prowl.
Masih sekarang dengar? Masih biasa. So they've been hearing it pretty regularly right about now. They're going to be going right into the area where they've been hearing the tiger.
The villagers are reluctant to guide Nijhuis back to the site. A tiger that's killed once could easily kill again.
Location where we're going to be walking in to see where the person was killed by the tiger.
The victim had been cutting grass in the park to feed his livestock when he became separated from his friends. Once they noticed he was gone, they went back to look for him.
Apparently his body the blood was first found here, and then it was dragged off across there, and they found bits of the leg and the arm, and all the skin had been taken off the face.
Alone, a man is a vulnerable target for attack. But inside the park, the offending tiger is immune from prosecution. In tiger country, it's the humans who are trespassing. But when an attack occurs beyond the park's perimeter, it's the tiger that's the intruder. In the past, the custom was to track down a rogue tiger and kill it. Today, Neil Franklin is tracking one down to save it. His destination is the same area where Udung was captured, raising suspicions that some of the attacks blamed on the tiger were not his doing. But getting there is the hard part. Ahead lay 140 miles of brutal back roads and makeshift bridges. And it's the rainy season. Dead in their tracks, there's nothing they can do but wait. Finally, after 3 grueling days, they reach a village nestled in the Bukit Barisan Mountains. Children playing along the fringe of the forest seemed unconcerned about the reported problem tiger. But their elders are leery of conservationists and superstitious about tigers. In Indonesian folklore, a tiger is revered as the grandfather of the forest.
Bisa ini Pak, minta waktu sebentar Pak.
Seolah-olah menentang.
This man's saying that the tiger attacks here are all because of the people that go into the forest. They're disturbing the balance, and for that reason the tiger's getting angry.
At a forestry outpost 3 hours from the village, a tiger recently terrorized workers by holding them hostage inside the building. Those who saw him are still shook up about it.
Lihat itu, Pak, iPhone itu. Kan buka jendela itu.
He opened the window, a little green window over there, opened up, saw the tiger, the reflections of the light from inside the post hitting the tiger's eyes, just catching the golden coat. Couldn't sleep at all, didn't get any sleep at all that night.
The incident was all the more terrifying for this man after what he witnessed 6 months ago on the same spot. A tiger grabbed a woman sleeping under a tarp with her daughter next to the outpost. The child held onto the mother's arm, but the tiger ripped the woman away. The child survived, but her mother's remains were scattered about the clearing.
Anaknya bangun, Pak.
Anaknya langsung bangun itu, mamanya di.
Udung, the captive tiger, was blamed for the attack. But now Franklin and his team must explore if another tiger was responsible. To find out, Bastoni takes a satellite fix on the location so they can track the rogue tiger's movements later on a map. Tiger prints verify the tiger was a big one. Still, the question is why? Was he hungry or was he provoked?
The conclusion here was, in fact, there's enough prey to support tigers, and that the pigs were abundant, rusa deer were abundant, and there was some other reason that tigers were killing people.
The theory is that Udung discovered humans make easy prey. If so, Ron Tilson thinks Udung fits an emerging new profile. Forced into territories near the edge of populated areas, young male tigers are more likely to encounter and possibly attack people.
There's this idea that problem tigers are old tigers and whatever. I think most of those tigers die of starvation very quickly. Why is it that we're finding all of these young males, and this particular male was trapped in an area where several people had been killed? I think that is the tiger that ends up being the problem tiger or the killer tiger.
Tilson predicts tiger attacks will become more common as people move further into remote patches of the rainforest. Six weeks later, in another village, his fears are realized. Here, the entire population of Nareep is being held hostage by a tiger on the offensive. Residents are under orders from the army to stay inside after dark. The panic started here. A mother and her son were huddled together inside their tiny one-room hut, unaware their simple yet seemingly safe existence was about to be shattered. Outside, a tiger was circling. Suddenly, the tiger leaped into the hut and grabbed the child to the terrified screams of his mother.
Jumps through the fire, or over the fire, grabs the child at the neck, and jumps out here at the very side over the little bar. Runs down 15, 20 meters, and mother is running after it, yelling for the father, and he's running back up.
For some reason, the tiger dropped the boy in a field. He was taken to a clinic, bleeding, but still breathing.
Ya, biasanya kita di sana. Iya, betul. Kalau yang ini kan lebih open.
Miraculously, the 7-year-old survived.
They got the child by the neck.
It was so traumatic that he remembers nothing about the tiger or the attack.
Bagus.
But his parents will never forget.
Just after the tiger got hold of the child, was running outside of the tent with the child's head down here and the child's legs over the tiger's head.
His mother begged the animal to take her instead. To her astonishment, the tiger dropped the boy, turned around, and ran away.
Just lost part of his scalp and it's back behind his ear.
The boy was left with a gash on the side of his head. Tilson is amazed it isn't worse. When the tiger latched onto the boy's head, he stripped away the skin. The lack of puncture wounds leads Tilson to conclude that in this case, the tiger may have been old and starving, with few teeth left.
It looks like the tiger got the little boy by the skin because he didn't puncture the side of the face and he just lost part of his scalp.
2 weeks after the attack, Nareep is still under siege. Since then, 6 dogs have been killed, and local leaders are urging a quick solution. If not, residents may take matters into their own hands. Often that means putting poisoned carcasses or a homemade trap in the forest, killing innocent tigers and other wildlife indiscriminately.
Because obviously right now you have people who want to shoot and kill the animal, you have people who want to trap the animal, and you probably have people who just want to leave the area. And we have to work this out. If the tiger is going to live here in Sumatra and the people are going to live here in Sumatra, there has to be some sort of understanding of how to deal with this issue. Right now there really isn't.
For now, it's an unsettled peace, and the future of the Sumatran tiger remains in jeopardy. Everyone feels trapped by the need to protect an endangered public without harming this endangered species. After 3 weeks of replacing and fine-tuning the remote video cameras in Waikambas National Park, early results are promising. A family of macaques is captured feeding their young on a log. A Malaysian sun bear, once abundant but now quite rare, also ambles by. But the elusive Sumatran is still biding his time. At the base camp, night brings peace and relaxation. But out in the forest, a tent affords little protection, and the night shift is on alert. Neil Opry and Bastoni have camped out in the jungles of Sumatra almost 1,000 nights. They keep a campfire burning to ward off curious and dangerous creatures. Even the smallest can strike hard.
It's like a wasp or a hornet.
Neil's lip shows what a tiny wasp can do.
It really hurts. It's sore right into the nerves of the teeth.
When the sun goes down, the forest comes alive. The slightest motion sets off the video camera and catches a banded palm civet cautiously making its rounds. If a tiger's near, he's lurking in the shadows. Perfectly camouflaged, a Sumatran is almost invisible at night. To play it safe, the researchers keep watch. Opry knows firsthand what it's like to be cornered by a tiger. A few years ago, while working as a forest ranger, he had a close call.
His face with this tiger staring at him and obviously very angry with him, looking like he was about to pounce. And he just couldn't move his legs.
The tiger eventually backed off and disappeared into the forest, but he was never far away. Tonight, a roar resounds through the jungle, putting everyone on notice another tiger's out there, somewhere.
Often we hear tigers, particularly at night, and the sound's very characteristic. I think perhaps something to do with the mating season of tigers, and it's an eerie sound at night in the forest. It's definitely the most scary thing you can hear.
No one has ever filmed or taped a wild Sumatran tiger prowling the jungle at night. But this rare glimpse of a captive Sumatran reveals just how well the tiger blends into its surroundings. At night, while tigers rule the jungle, another creature wreaks havoc. These farmers are keeping an all-night vigil on the perimeter of Waikambas National Park. It's the growing season, and wild elephants are raiding their crops. The farmers hope these kerosene torches will scare them away. If not, months of hard work could be wiped out in a night. These watchtowers were built to warn those below of elephants in the distance. Philip Nijhoes is out here for another reason. Many villagers believe officials care more about saving animals than protecting farmers and their livelihoods.
He says he has to use this torch to frighten the elephants. And he said if you didn't
His
have
job
this
is
torch,
to
you
teach
wouldn't be able to
villagers
get
how to
over
live in
this
harmony with the forest. But it's not easy when they're constantly under siege. Tonight, he's showing the farmers how to reinforce a ditch designed to prevent elephants from invading the fields. Although it's a deterrent, there's still a problem.
He still feels there's a lot of elephants inside the park that come out and bother him. He's happy with the park. He just wishes there was something more that could be done with the elephants.
For now, the ditch seems to be doing the job.
You know?
But down the road, there's trouble. An elephant is spotted, but it quickly crashes into the brush. Park rangers try to chase it back into the park, while searchlights sweep the forest for anything that moves. But darkness and now rain make it nearly impossible to see an elephant until it's too late. Suddenly, another elephant comes out of nowhere. For a few anxious moments, it appears ready to charge. It comes within a few yards of the camera, then abruptly reverses course. Even more terrifying is an elephant that can be heard but not seen. In Sumatra, wild elephants kill more people than tigers. 11 have been trampled to death in the last few years. By morning, the damage is apparent. Despite the farmers' efforts, several rows of corn were destroyed. 27 villages border Waikambas National Park. Without their cooperation, there's no way to save the tigers, let alone the elephants. There is also little sympathy for the forest that harbors them. All researchers can do is help fortify the ditch to keep the forest and villagers apart. Clearing the way for a more permanent barricade is no easy task, but it's a step in the right direction for Ron Tilson.
We're looking at a way of putting cement posts and cables on ways of keeping the elephant out, and that way we're going to have a system of protecting the crops of the people, and it helps the tigers because we have a better working relationship between the people and PHPA who are responsible for the safety of the tigers. So this is truly a win-win situation for not only the park, but the villagers and for the Project Tiger. Thank you very much, Pa, from me.
With a simple handshake, one wall goes up and another comes down. In the past, the people of Sumatra felt ignored when it came to conservation. Now, for the first time, the plight of the tiger is in their hands. Inside this makeshift nursery lies the best hope for the survival of Sumatran tigers in the wild. These 4-month-old cubs were the first litter born in captivity to parents captured in the wild. Biologists prefer to breed wild animals to maintain the purity of the species. When these cubs mature, they'll be some of the most sought-after tigers in the world. Taman Safari Wildlife Park near Jakarta is headquarters for the Sumatran Tiger breeding program. It's also the last stop for problem tigers. In the past, a problem tiger would have been destroyed. Now they're captured and brought here to perpetuate their own kind. Currently, there are 20, twice as many as originally planned. Already, a new state-of-the-art facility is in the works for these tigers to ensure their legacy for the future. The cub's father, Hendra, was captured 5 years ago and is a healthy male in his prime. Their mother, Minas, was trapped 7 months ago after threatening but not actually harming some villagers. In the wild, Sumatran tigers usually give birth to no more than 2 cubs, but one often dies from disease or other dangers. So the arrival of 4 healthy cubs came as a big surprise. 4 months old, all the cubs are still doing fine, under the mother's proud and watchful eye. If tigers in the wild continue to decline, biologists may someday have to resort to artificial insemination, using sperm from captive tigers to revitalize genetically weakened populations. Ron Tilson founded a group that coordinates tiger breeding worldwide, aware that 2 other Indonesian tigers have already gone extinct.
We don't have the Java tiger because no one thought about that. We don't have the Bali tiger anymore, and we don't have the Caspian tiger, and we've pretty much wiped the South China tiger off. And so I believe in just having as many good, strong options available as possible, and only play those options if necessary.
9635.
A team of highly trained specialists keeps track of every Sumatran tiger in captivity and breeds them. But before a tiger caught in the wild enters the program, it's given a thorough physical. This 2-year-old, named Ara, was caught in the villager's snare that crushed her paw, a wound that often leads to a fatal infection in the wild.
We'll do something good to you, okay?
Ara will make an ideal mother in about a year. But first, she must undergo an extensive evaluation. A dart filled with tranquilizers will calm the anxious tiger.
Ready? Ara, baby. Masuk.
After about 5 minutes, the drugs appear to be taking effect. But a nudge won't hurt, to be on the safe side.
Ininya udah ya? Udah diatur ya? Udah.
The examination begins with a weigh-in. Ara tips the scale at 75 kilos, about 165 pounds, which means she's still growing. Although she's sedated, all her vital signs register normal. These powerful incisors are arguably the most lethal in the animal kingdom. But they can also become easily infected. So Ara's teeth are thoroughly cleaned. Then to pamper her, a pedicure.
So we are going to check the kepalamu.
Lagaya Tumbalaka has coordinated dozens of tiger exams.
We are having this captivating program, so we hope that even though they are outside the wild, we can still keep the genetic quality of the animals. So if one day we need to reintroduce the animal, we are sure that we have a good population in our facilities.
A tattoo marks Ara's induction into the international breeding program. Number T9635 in the Sumatran Tiger stud book. A microchip transponder inserted under her skin will electronically identify Ara wherever she goes. And the genetic material from this biopsy will permanently put Ara's DNA on file, enabling scientists to trace her bloodlines for generations. For now, computerized mating, matching Ara with another Sumatran on this worldwide list of other captive tigers, offers her the best hope of becoming a mother and perpetuating her species.
With the serum.
Someday, she could also be impregnated by a tiger whose genetic legacy has been preserved in a sperm bank, suspended in liquid nitrogen. The genes of Sumatran tigers stored here will serve as an insurance policy against their extinction. But the ultimate goal is to use the information gathered in Y Combus to save the tigers while they're still in the wild. Sumatra contains millions of acres of logged-out lowland forests similar to the park. Ron Tilson and his team are ready to explore the island to look for more potential tiger habitats. By applying the technique so successfully field-tested in Waikambas, they hope to duplicate their remarkable results.
I think we're going to redefine the principle of conservation for tigers in Sumatra. And all we need to do is identify a number of areas that have been logged over, that have been considered perhaps not optimal habitat, and think through, if we protect that for the next 15 years, we're going to have forest just like we have here. And I think we'll see a resurgence of prey species and a resurgence of the tiger coming up to much higher populations.
But for now, the Sumatran tiger remains as secretive as ever. For 4 months, the remote video cameras at Waikambas peered into the forest, capturing a wealth of wildlife parading past the lens. Everything except a tiger. Though once a tantalizing orange image entered the viewfinder, but moisture blurred the lens, allowing the elusive tiger to escape once again. Then, on a steamy Sumatran morning near a stream, a routine camera check reveals the moment all had been waiting for.
Tiger. What? Tiger.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. We did it.
A Sumatran tiger had finally come out of hiding.
Congratulations.
And the video is, the next thing.
Ron Tilson had been waiting for this moment for 15 years.
You saving the best for last?
He and his
Give that a
team
little
sat
mark.
riveted as the first wild Sumatran tiger ever filmed strolled into view.
I wonder how rich a forest.
That he saw it on television did nothing to diminish his excitement.
The difference between
It was natural history in the making.
It's like a foggy morning. Oh, look at that. That was
The tiger, an adult female, silently strides through the forest at 6:30 in the morning, unaware she's being watched.
They're very relaxed, huh? They're not tense, very aware of their environment.
Light-footed.
Light, oh yeah. Gone just like that. They come on the scene, they leave the scene. Whee!
Having marked her territory, the tiger moves on.
Turns and urine sprays. Look at it, reaches it, smells again. Tail flicks up, but it doesn't actually urine spray, I think. And walks on. Boy, what a life.
It lasts only 22 seconds. And the quality is poor, but the first glimpse of a Sumatran tiger in its own environment is a moment worth celebrating. Now it's only a matter of time before another tiger comes to call. When it does, the scientists and their cameras will be waiting to capture the mysterious Sumatran and to study its every movement. There's an old Malay saying that the spirit of the tiger is so powerful that when it dies, its stripes remain. But if these scientists have their way, the first glimpse of this magnificent creature won't be the last.